rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, your freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America. How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
We're Homeland Security. You know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
And where my fathers died.
And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
Land of the Pilgrims'
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead. It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
So, she's gone.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
Good evening, America! How y'all doing? This is your friendly neighborhood bearded weirdo coming at you loud and proud as I always do. And with this magnificence upon my face, how y'all doing? And before I introduce this now deaf, gray-haired man next to me and the man behind the curtain, before I introduce them, this is what I need y'all to do. If y'all love the church and state, I need you to go in and I need you to hit the like button. I need you to hit the notification button. I need to hit that subscribe button. And you know what? I would also like you to share it. And then lastly, I would like you to go into the link tree, go into the click on the Clapper thing and join the family in Clapper. And if you would like to give a little bit of money to help us keep things afloat and maybe grow this thing, you can do that through the first tier that we've created in Clapper in the Clapper fam, which is just $1. Not a big deal, right? Everybody got $1. That all being said, I need y'all to do that, and I thank you in advance for it.
Dollar bills, y'all.
But to my left, he is my best friend, my compadre, my brother. He also happens to be my pastor. He is the one, the only, the Pastor Gary Podosek.
Word.
And then behind that iron curtain, where he beats us mercilessly for not adhering to what he says to do. That might be a role reversal. Yeah,
just saying.
If we don't read the cue cards properly, he beats us.
You have cue cards?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you read them?
Not really.
Can you read?
Sometimes. Anyway, he is our producer. He is also one of my best friends. And we are glad that he is here, always helping us with technical difficulties that always run amok.
They do.
He is our best friend, Steven Cattell.
Steven?
Yeah?
who's been hard at work at messing around today, having a good old time back there. As you can see, we played the trailer to the movie Sound of Freedom. Now, you might be asking why. Are we getting any money from them? No. I will gladly push the movie because I think everybody needs to see it. However, we're going to be talking about the topic of said movie, which is sex trafficking.
He said it.
Yep, I said it. I dare you, YouTube. I dare you.
I mean,
but it is a lot worse than people want to admit. Actually, it's worse than people refuse to admit. And that movie puts it out there. If you haven't seen a movie, you need to go see it. Yes. Jim Caviezel himself said that he played Jesus in a movie, and this movie, Sound of Freedom, was the most important movie he has ever done. Okay, that should tell you something. It's a breaking movie, but it's not so much about the movie. It is really about the fact that there are 40 million people in slavery today, and the majority of that slavery in this world is sex slavery. And it shouldn't be that way. As Christians, we should not be allowing that, because sad to say, if you watch that movie, at the very end of that movie, he says that he throughout the movie, he quotes stats about sex trafficking. And yeah, the movie was made 5 years ago, so those stats are probably even worse than they are today. They're worse today than they are then, I mean. At the very end of the movie, he basically points the finger at America saying that we're the start of it. It's a hard hitter. It was a gut punch. Because that whole movie, I was angry at everything that was going on.
The whole time.
That gut punch at the end where it says that basically America is the gateway to it.
well, I don't know if I would say gateway, but I think that the biggest participant. That'd be a better, way of saying it. Not
just the biggest participant, but also a lot of children over the years have been going missing.
Well,
from America as well.
But there's a problem there. So I will put my 2 cents in where I think that there's probably, I don't want to say bad stat reading here, but because the stats are the stats. I think that there's accuracy in the number, but where you get the number from, right? Because you can make stats tell a story.
Yes, you can.
Let's just pause that for just a minute and recognize the other problem. Is the child sex trafficking a big issue, or just general sex trafficking in America a huge problem? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Okay. But the product of it you can't just casually throw that out there and say, oh, well, because it's happening in America, it's because American citizens are the biggest problem. Well, you have a secondary problem, like, i.e., the ridiculous amount of illegal immigration that's happening right now. That is the source of almost, I mean, I don't know for sure, but a good portion of that sex trafficking is right there.
No, it is. It is.
But so that point is that it's not a fair, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not a fair assessment. It's the location of the incidents are in the United States of America, but the product is not American.
Oh, no.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? I mean, there is some American, I'm not saying
there are American individuals that are involved in this crap.
And those individuals are not like regular, like Joe Schmo's next door neighbor guys. There are people that you would go, aren't you supposed to be fighting against that?
Yep.
And those are the people that are in problematic situations, which again are the same people who go, aren't you letting them in?
Yep.
Not saying names, but I'm just saying.
He tripped and fell again,
He probably smelled 3 children on the way down.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yes, but that is a big thing. Our border, the fact that these illegals are coming in, that you get these
which
coyotes.
Is where a large portion of this movie is focusing. From.
No, actually, no. It focuses in a totally different country.
The border issue.
No.
Does
not.
No.
It has. This is a true life story. The guy that Jim Caviezel plays. He went into it was Ecuador or whatever.
But I thought he was Border Patrol.
No, he was not. He was Homeland Security.
Homeland Security. That's what
he did. Homeland Security, and I didn't realize this. Part of Homeland Security's job is not only to do what the name says, secure the homeland, but it is also use Homeland Security to track down pedophiles and stuff in this country. And he had been the guy that he plays, the real life person had Colombia. That's right. Yeah, it was down in Colombia. The real life person had arrested hundreds of pedophiles. But that's all he ever does. He was getting the end people, the people that were buying the
children.
bad kitty videos. Not even buying the children. Where he starts is that he's arresting people that pay for the images and the videos of underage.
So he was
children.
basically getting all those FBI agents. Oh, I'm sorry.
CIA?
CIA, whatever. I mean, probably on the FBI too.
No comment. No, they didn't get any of them. But anyway,
of course they didn't get those guys.
But it's all
their
about
computers were literally just littered
his
with
partner in the very beginning of the movie says to him, we catch all these guys, but are we really doing anything about it? We're not saving any of the kids.
What about the kids?
What about the kids? And that kind of sets him on this path of where he ends up working with this guy, like going to Colombia, trying to do an undercover sting. He originally gets permission, then they take the permission away from him. Like, then he starts doing it on his own. And the whole movie is gut wrenching. It actually doesn't even go into America so much isn't the viewpoint at all. He keeps giving stats because he narrates it as he's acting in the movie. He keeps giving these stats of how often different things happen, how often kids are taken, what the percentage is, all this different stuff. It does all that, and at the very end is where he basically points the finger at, and America, you're involved in this too, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a gut punch. And I will agree with you. The border issue, because you get these coyotes that are bringing in children.
And they're disguised as though it's a family. And that's the thing that people like. You get the gaslighting from the left.
But then the coyotes, they don't stay up here.
No.
Then they go grab some kids that are already in America and then go back across the border and take them to other countries. So they're bringing these kids from other countries into America to be sold around. And then they're coming in and grabbing kids in America and taking them to other countries and selling them around. And this is where, like, America needs to wake up to this, because everybody wants to cry racism and wants to cry all this other stuff and how bad slavery was in the beginning of this country. And granted, the entire world at any given point has been doing slavery. And I will agree that slavery is always bad.
Yeah.
But child sex slavery is worse. And there are, at any given point in the world, over 40 million children in it.
Well, this is like one of those old things where they I forget what the study was, but it showed it was showing humanism, right? And a byproduct of humanism is there are some intrinsic traits that makes a person a human being.
Yes.
Right? Even the most I would say like evil or corrupted human beings in the world have a shred of humanity still in them. And there's things that they can show and did in this study. And one of those things is they showed an image of a male man getting eaten by like a crocodile or something. And it was really gruesome, and it was really ugly, and it was really disgusting. Then they showed a video of a child about 3 years old being attacked by a crocodile and the same thing happening. And people who you would think would be like, just watch that and just be unfazed, or like, turn it off. I can't watch, turn it off. Like they can't, it's part of your human body and your soul that cannot watch an innocent child go through something painful and hurtful. And what I think that this movie does do is it strikes that chord in you that makes you go, okay, I know it exists, but if you don't see it, it's kind of like it doesn't bother you.
Oh, yeah.
But the moment you see it, now I'm pretty sure that the movie doesn't show the actual stuff in it, but
no, it doesn't show it, but it heavily implies it.
Well, yeah, and it should imply it, but because it's what it's about. But at the same point, it doesn't. If you are not affected by that, like there's a part of you that isn't human at that point. Like you've lost a part of your humanity. And like children generally are a great litmus of whether or not you have that human instinct in you that to protect a child is almost like there's no person. I don't need to. I don't need
protect the child as long as it's not in the womb.
I don't need. I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, we can argue about that on another one. But that's not going to argue about it. But anyway, but the thing is like I don't need a parent's permission to go and stop a stranger from harming a child.
Nope.
Like if I'm in the supermarket and I see some guy
grab a kid,
and I know that's not them, I'm tackling that dude.
Yeah.
I'm tackling that dude.
Oh, I'm
not
going to
wait for the cops to show up. I'm tackling him because I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And it's like, there's got to be a wakening up. And, you kind of started it off on it, but, the whole subject matter of the movie, and I think it's really, I think Caviezel says it, is they're God's children.
Yep. God's children are not for sale.
And when you don't have to be a believer, you don't have to profess faith in God, you don't have to know any of that stuff. But if you can just recognize that it's in the innocence of a child, that child has to belong to somebody.
Yep.
Right? And if that child doesn't have a mom and a dad because they're taken away from them, or that child doesn't have parental figures in their life because they've been kidnapped, for instance, that child does belong to somebody. It doesn't belong to the person who's in their possession now. And if you have this understanding that they're God's children, then you have an understanding that there's something bigger than you at stake. And I think that that's where, if you're going to go somewhere with anything going further in the subject, you have to learn something very pivotal about your life from this moment forward. There is always going to be a life that's more important than yours.
Yep.
Yeah, and in this movie too, the main thing that they showed is the kids that were kidnapped. The way it was done was basically somebody coming over to this parent's house and saying, "Hey, I am a modeling agent, and I think your kid would be great."
Oh yeah,
to be a model.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, we're going to take her over here, and we're going to get her all set up.
Parents don't need to be here."
Yeah, and we'll meet you at this juncture.
Mm-hmm.
Go meet him at the juncture. The entire place is empty. There's nobody there.
And your kids are
nothing's there, and the kids are gone.
Yeah,
it happens that quickly.
And in America, now the funny thing is that
you know why that you know why that works so well, right?
Because it's such a poor country. I mean, the movie takes place in where it takes place.
But that would work that would work here. That would work easily in America. Absolutely. It'll work in any country.
Well, here in America, they tend to be a little bit more brazen in taking kids out of parking lots and parks and stuff like that.
But hear me out. And I was actually, my time with the Lord today, and I was reflecting on a thought. And one of the thoughts that popped in my head, and I was challenging this in conversation with God, and God was pretty much just agreeing with the thought, was this country has become a very lazy country. And in that laziness, think about it this way, right? We tend to think that like a lot of people who live in impoverished areas, right? And we have a pretty impoverished area close to us in New Jersey. The people who live in that impoverished area would complain and say, well, you don't understand. You don't live where we live. We live in the hood. We live in here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you live in a very impoverished neighborhood in the United States, you are living like a king.
In Mexico.
In some other country.
Yep.
You are far better off. You have far better things. And this was to a person who came from Haiti that I was having a conversation with. And he has understanding because he's lived there and he understands the culture and what he came from, and he can make that comparative analysis, right? But people in this country can't.
Yeah.
They're spoiled. And they're lazy.
Homeless eat better than the average citizen of third.
We throw out more food in this nation. The food, I think there's a stat. The food that we throw out on a regular basis, the amount of food we throw out in a year would be enough to feed like 40 other nations.
Yeah.
That are
Yeah,
third world
and
nations.
if I remember correctly,
and
what
that
you're
is
talking about is when they said
insane amount of food.
the stuff that they say is out of code that we throw away.
But it doesn't even matter. I'm talking about just
That is still
general
good. You know, the stuff with
food
the
wastage.
the stuff that says sell by or best if used by state,
and that is
Yeah.
amazing to me. So in that thought, and I'm sitting here and to bring it around, I don't want to leave it where it's kind of trailing off. The laziness of this country would absolutely let that happen. Why? Because my kid can make me rich. My kid can get me a cozy place where I don't have to go to work and work a 9 to 5. My kid gets super famous. I'm making
Well,
all
they're
this
already
money
doing
off
it. It's
of my
called
kid.
Hollywood.
Well, no, but like
Because
because
they
Right,
treat
right.
they treat the child
but
stars
think
like
about
they're
that though. It doesn't take much. If I come to your house and I go, "Hey, I think your kid, would be." I might not win all of them. Sure, I might get showed off by, "Oh, you're a creeper. Get out of here. You want my kid." Okay, yeah, I might not win all. I'm not going to get everybody, but I guarantee you, if I did it in a day, I'd probably walk away with at least 5 or 6 kids. Because I don't have to do much. I just have to sell you the money gig, and the money gig will win every time. And it's because people adopted such a lazy, no work
everybody
mentality
looking for the quick
where
buck.
people are trying to make the quick buck, and if I can make that quick buck off of my kid, I'm going to take it. And you know what? That's sickening to me.
Oh, yeah.
That is sickening to me.
Yeah, and Nolan would probably agree with me too that I was mad at the father for letting it happen in the beginning.
Yeah.
You felt bad for him towards the end, because when he finally realized what he did. But in the beginning, you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Well,
It's a cultural
and that was the thing. The girl,
Or at least they painted it as such.
it was. What it was is that in this village, because the movie, a lot of the movie where they went to go find the couple kids was in Colombia, where they were actually taken from was somewhere else. But poor family, the wife was dead or not in the picture. Let's put it that way. Single father raising 2 kids.
Right.
The little girl loves to sing, and like she would beat on her sandal on this wood box to make a drum beat and sing this song. Well, woman walking by hears her singing and goes, "Oh, I work for this." The dad originally was like, but the daughter was like, "Please, Papa, I want to." And he gave in to his daughter and did it because he just wanted his daughter to be happy.
And then leads down a whole another slope of things.
Yeah. Well, and then also was like, "Oh, well, your son is cute too. He could be a model and ball." So brought both the son and daughter in there, and yeah, it went bad. Now, I've always been against the modeling agency. I was never big, like people all the time be like, "Oh, your baby would be cute, or your little kid will be good for No, we're not doing the pageantry crap. We're not doing, all this crap for kids. It's just not going to happen." But I don't think I would have fallen for it. But at the same time, when they're promising money and your little girl looks at you and goes, "Hey, Papa, you don't have the money to do a lot of things. What's the worst?" They tell her no. She gets a little upset. She cries. But yeah, it does take a bad turn. I didn't feel so much bad for him. I mean, I knew it was setting up in the beginning. I went and saw the movie on the 4th of July, day it opened. What pissed me off was I had 2 guys sitting next to me the whole movie. Now, mind you, my movie theater is dead quiet the whole movie. The whole once the 2 kids were taken,
I have a joke.
Nobody. Yes, there were black people in the movie theater.
Oh, come on. See, I didn't even have to say the joke.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nobody. The minute those 2 kids got taken, instantly quiet the rest of the movie.
Well,
Nobody talked the rest of the movie.
But that's not but see, that's the thing. That's
what
not
you
the
could
kind of
hear,
movie,
though,
yo.
what you could hear was people getting angry. Like, I was getting furious. I'm sitting there and I'm just getting, the more I watch this movie, the more mad I'm getting. And because this has been a cause that has been on my heart for a long time. And now I know avenues, because of this movie, it's painted some avenues where you can get involved into things like this and, can do stuff. So it's opened my eyes to a lot of things. It was really, really good. I had these 2 guys sitting to my left at the end of the movie. This is what they said. "Oh, it was a good movie. I just wish it wasn't so dark."
Now, like dark, like it wasn't well lit.
No, it was well lit. They mean dark, like as in like
Subject matter.
Yeah.
Subject matter.
Would you want it? Would you want it dressed up with like unicorns and like
Apparently
dark.
Apparently, they thought it was going to be another Sylvester Stallone movie with pointless explosions. I'm here to take those kids.
It's like going to watch The Passion of the Christ and go, man, if I just wish it wasn't so dark, man. Just,
I wish it wasn't so bloody.
No, I wish it wasn't so gory. Oh, would you want confetti to come out when they impaled him?
Dude, I was so mad. Like, I wanted to hit him.
They pierce him, and it's the solitaire end game where all the cards fall out of him.
But yeah,
fun.
Dude, that was the thing. Like,
You win.
Now, most of the people that were in that audience, like, there were women were crying, grown men were crying. I went to my car and I sat there for a half hour, didn't move. I didn't move. I sat alone in my car, just in utter silence.
Yeah, it's an effect you
Never have I watched another movie that ever made me do that.
Well, I mean,
Never.
you need to watch more True Stories. Again,
No, I watch a lot of true stories, but it never affected my
story like that.
It never affected my soul that way. And like, I just instantly started getting into prayer, just praying God, thanking God, for that my kids were never a part of this, but just started praying with God. Like, and then there was this whole range of emotions. And I knew of people that watched it that it like spent days talking about it after the movie was done. This is where America needs to wake up. It's systemic that in this country, for the most part, now I'm going to say for the most part, because I even believe people who say they're, Christians and pro-life and pro-whatever, they're also desensitized by it as well.
Yeah, because it doesn't help.
We have become a culture that has become desensitized to the destruction of innocent life.
Well, I can talk about that for about an hour. Do we have that kind of time?
Oh, we have. Look, this is where this boils down to. What is the root of this? What causes something like this to prevail in the world, and let alone
hear what he has
in our country? It is when you have, from the very basic conception of life, no longer value life. You no longer value life. You think it's something that can be thrown away at a whim, that just because you decide that you don't want it, you can end it.
I could argue this.
Huh? You're going to argue against it?
No. Not. I'm not going to argue in favor of like.
I mean, yes, the world is evil because
pro-choice.
The world is evil.
I'm not saying that.
You're not going to turn to Trump.
No.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there
because you couldn't keep your mouth shut off of it.
No. What I'm saying is, yes, the world is evil. Yes, the world is dark. Adam gave the deed to the world, to the enemy, and since then we've been living in a sinful world. Okay, and there's nothing new under the sun, which says that all this stuff has been happening since biblical times anyway. I mean, shoot, Job. They were coming after what? Not Job. They it wasn't even Abraham. What was the guy that Lot? There it goes. Lot was being chased. Yeah. They were going to go after Lot's daughters, and basically Lot threw the angels at him and said, "Hey, here, rape them." This is stuff that has been had. Sodom, Gomorrah. This was
the guards, not the angels. But yeah, go ahead. It's fine. Keep going.
But like Sodom and Gomorrah, he threw them like. No, it was the angels.
Were they disguised?
It was angels in disguise. No, yeah, angels disguised as guards.
I have to remember that. I remember the guards part. I don't remember the.
Yeah, it was angels disguised as guards.
You could be right about that. I remember that vaguely. Both of those.
So Sodom and Gomorrah. This stuff has happened before, all throughout history. The fact is that now in a world in a country as ours that is supposed to be based off of Judea.
Yeah, I thought it was the guards. It was the guards.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was guards. But the angels did not allow it to happen.
Yeah, they did
not. Lot was going to do it.
Yeah,
but they
so anyway, Lot this stuff.
But anyway,
this stuff has been happening all through history. Yeah, this stuff has been happening all throughout history.
I have my argument.
There's nothing new under the sun. But when you no longer care about the sanctity of life, you let things like this happen.
So to that point, right? Abortion bad, obviously.
Always.
I think that there's a couple factors, and I think yes, there's a thread where you could weave the abortion line through.
Well, it's not even the abortion; it's just sanctity of
Well,
life.
again,
Period.
but the abortion,
sanctity of innocent life. Yes, abortion is the biggest offender of that.
Well, again, with what you stated and how you stated it as the devaluing of that life, so that it makes those things possible.
Makes it easier to, if you devalue it, it's easy to throw it away.
But there's other things at play, right? So think of it this way: though, if the value of that life was not important to all sides, right, then there wouldn't be other sides that find the value in it still, right? So the value has exchanged. So and I'll explain my premise and what I'm saying. So the value for children in this case, right, if there was no value, as you're stating, then basically at that point, they're better aborted than they are kept
That's
around.
their argument.
No, it's not, because in this premise, then the movie.
Well, in this movie, yeah.
Correct. You're seeing the value is not placed on. They don't want them gone. They want them to be around up to a certain age so they can sell them in the sex circles and they're profitable, right? So they make the money. So they're not useless. They do want kids. They don't want to end children reproduction altogether. Now,
no, but they are murdering them in a psychological sense, and their
I'm not
innocence
going to argue
is
the
being murdered.
damage, and I'm not going to argue with all the stuff that happens in that too. That's not my point. But I think that there's other factors, right? So one of those factors I call the Hollywood factor, and I think that this is one of the bigger problems in our country, which is the idea that children can be used as entertainment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in a time where there was a bunch of family shows.
Mickey Mouse Club.
No.
There was that too.
I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the family sitcoms, the family shows, right? And these shows had real young kids on them, like little
baby
kids.
age.
And the idea of that was that it portrayed the family model, right?
Yep.
So that you had this family figure presence on the show, and it made families seem more believable on television. But you created something, and you don't know what you created. And I get it. Innocent, maybe not innocent, because let's all face it, television is completely real, and everything that happens on TV, much like the internet, is 100% factual and real. So you have to believe it.
And you know where we
true.
learned that? On Wikipedia.
Okay? Yeah, you can do the internet. If you research the internet, that's never wrong. It'll tell you that everything you see on TV is the truth and real. And so you have to believe it all. But that point is that when you see these kids, you don't see the deep, dark underbelly of what they become and how they get to that point. And even further, what they go through in all those parts, right? So we watch a show and there's a kid and they say something funny and we laugh and we think it's great. But that kid is not having a childhood. Right. They're not having normal child experiences.
They're working for...
They're not, exactly. They're being trained to work as a young child. And so this is where I call the damages started, right? The Hollywood effect. You have basically adults, not the children. The children are not at fault. And I'll never say at any point of this, the children are at fault. They're not. But the parents are.
Yep.
And where the parents have lost this battle is that they have deemed that that child can work. Okay. And though they are not getting any of the benefit because they're a child, you can reap the rewards and the benefits from that child. And so that is technically slavery, work camp slavery. Okay. This is the junk that the Germans did in Nazi camps.
Yep.
This is the stuff that was demonized across the globe from other nations that were militant in their control and the way they ran their nations and how they treated a child. It was horrific. And parents in those nations didn't have a choice.
Yep.
But when you opt in and you buy into that choice, that's a problem. So parents, this is a problem with you. If you can see your kid in any other realm as a child, other than a child that needs to have the freedom to be a child, and you do everything to protect that innocence, again, going along with what you're saying, but not in the sense of, oh, we have to start in the womb. I'm saying, okay, let's assume that womb part is covered. Then you get them out of the womb. You can't look at them as a prize pony that you're going to make your life change over.
No,
you can't look at them as, well, they're going to be a doctor, right? I hear this one from a lot of parents. Oh, my kid's going to be a doctor. Are you forcing them to be a doctor? Because if you are, That's
slavery.
wrong. I know doctors make a lot of money, but you're telling your child who's 5 right now, and you're indoctrinating them by buying them the cool doctor kit, what's the toy company, Fisher Price or whatever, and you buy them all this stuff, and you're slowly manipulating them into this profession because you want that retirement package when they make 6 figures as a doctor.
Or more.
Tell me, if you see that in any other person outside, how evil and manipulative and evil that is. It's wrong. Yeah. And that's the Hollywood effect.
And
it really is.
Did you hear about iCarly, the girl from iCarly?
Pick any of the kids who have gone through Hollywood and see the problem.
I mean, look at what's his name, the one that was real close with Michael Jackson.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin?
No, the other one.
Oh,
the one that was in Meatballs. He was also in Goonies.
The one whose brother died.
No.
Committed suicide. Yes, he did. Yep. Fact. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name. He was in Goonies. He was Mouth.
He was what?
He was Mouth in Goonies.
Yeah, Mouth.
His brother committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because of the pedophilia.
It wasn't his brother. It was his best friend. They weren't brothers.
I thought they were brothers. Well, either way,
they
did
friends.
so many things. I thought they were brothers.
Either way,
but I know who you're talking about.
But yeah, so the girl in iCarly had her mother who was basically over controlling her and trying to take all her money.
Mm-hmm.
And she has
you're talking about the friend, the blonde chick that didn't come back for the reboot.
I'll one up you. Dance moms.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Let me tell you something.
Awful.
I'm going to give you a deep,
So
dark
awful.
secret. My sister, who, if she watches this, she'll be mad at me, but that's okay. She was in dance, and she was doing dance competitions. And believe it or not, the Dance Mom circuit is East Coast circuit. They run the East Coast.
Yep.
Okay. So that circuit runs East Coast. Well, they were in a tournament, dance tournament. Her group was in a dance tournament that she was personally competing in, and the Dance Moms crew was there. They didn't pay entry fees. They did not competitively perform one iota. Everything was staged, performed for them. Their camera crew comes in. They video just the moms and all them, and they video their performances on the stage at the competition, but they're not in the competition. They do a fake award ceremony for them, and then they leave, and the competition goes on. None of it is real. It's completely fiction. Everything. Now, the girls that dance in them are talented. They can dance. They are dancers in their home areas that they do dance with, but Dance Moms is fake. Everything about it is fake. Now, maybe the studio is real that she owns is possibly real.
That horrible
but
Banshee.
But all the stuff you see on the television, again, going back to my thing, not real. Not 1 ounce of it. But here's what will burn you alive. Those kids make nothing.
Nope, goes all to the parents.
Their parents make fortunes.
You wonder why? You wonder
season
in the last
by season, those kids are bringing home 6-figure numbers to their parents, or more, depending. Like I think Maddie was one of the girls.
Honey Boo Boo wasn't she? Was one? Wasn't
well,
she?
that's a different show. But Maddie,
no, I thought Honey Boo Boo was. That's where she started. Was in dance. I'm pretty sure she started in Dance Moms.
I don't know. All I know is Maddie was one of the top dancers in the show, and she was single-handedly every season bringing home like $250K a season. So her mom was making bank off of her daughter not actually dancing professionally like she should, but doing it for a sitcom show, or not a sitcom, but a reality show that wasn't real. And I should tell you about, I love this debunking thing too. Oh, you wouldn't do great on Survivor, the reality shows. I'm like,
scripted.
There's a camera guy eating a Big Mac behind that guy on their deserted island with a stick and a fish on the other end.
Yeah.
Trust me. They're not starving. They're never dying. They make it look real, but it ain't real.
Well, no. From what I understand, insider people talking about it, they do say that they're not allowed to eat, but if anything goes wrong, they have food and supplies.
The point is, it's not as severely deserted, and it's not as severely dangerous.
No, you want to do Survivor?
You want to know why it's not?
Wait. I know how to do the best season of Survivor ever.
Send them over to North Korea.
No. No.
Survivor Island. It's at the DMZ.
No.
You have to get over there. Good luck.
No.
One season is all
I
you
would,
need.
I would watch this. I would be glued to the television of
By the
watching
way,
this.
Honey Boo Boo was in pageants and not in dance.
Thank you.
It was still.
I knew it wasn't
the
Dance
pageant.
Moms,
It was
but
one
either
of them because there was another reality show that was all pageants, and that's where she got.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep.
Anyway, pedophiles on Snake Island. I want them to do Survivor on Snake Island.
That might not turn out the way you want it.
I think it'll turn out exactly the way I want it.
I think some of it might, but I think some of it might get a little weird.
I'm okay with that.
Just saying, snakes and pedophiles sounds like a treat, but it might not be the one you like. You might be like,
look, if they start doing the
oh God, I mean, bro, really? That's the way you want to go? All right.
Look, if they want to do the gerbil effect with the,
that's I'm kind of saying that's probably what they do.
Well, I mean, if that's the one thing they want to bring to help that along, I mean,
hey, look, we get 2 wins out of that. The pedophile dies and the snake dies.
Yep, exactly.
That's horrible conversation. Can we go to another page, please?
But I mean.
So I have another video clip up here.
Oh yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This video clip, I'm gonna premise this
No
one.
Snake Island.
If you haven't seen this movie, Jim Caviezel's character is working with a man, and eventually they get to.
Looking like a man.
They're sitting down talking and drinking and everything else. And this whole time that he's been working with Jim Caviezel's character has been working with him. He was this former. He used to be in the whatever mafia or gang that was down there. He was one of the higher ups. He went to jail for his crew. Came back, was a set man. Still kept working. All this different stuff. And he asks him why he now is helping kids. Why does he keep up the persona that he's this gangster when in reality the only reason why he's doing it is so that he can help these kids? And that's what's in this video. He's going to give you essentially the testimony of what changed him. So cue the beautiful bean footage.
I had that condo on the beach. 15th floor. Marble everything, overlooking the whole bay. First night out of jail, I slept in my own bed. Day 2, I was back in business. Same old life. But it doesn't feel right. Not the drugs, not the hookers. But damn it, if I didn't keep trying. So, one night, I'm leaving a bar all jacked up on coca, and I notice this young girl on the corner, fine looking, maybe 20, 25. Take her up to my place, we do the deed, pay the bill. She's putting on her shoes, and I notice something. I notice her foot. She's got these little pink cat faces painted on her toenails. And it hit me. She's not 25. And she glances up and her eyes connect. And it was like I was granted a glimpse into her soul. And all I saw was sadness. Out of nowhere, she starts talking. Turns out she's not 25, not even 20. This girl is 14 years old to Mateo. She's been doing it since she was 6. Looks at me, smiles, takes the money, walks out the door. All of a sudden, I'm hit by this tidal wave, this tsunami of darkness. And I know I'm the sadness in her eyes. Me. I'm the darkness. And I know the darkness has to die. So I get my 45. Put it to my head. Put my finger on the trigger. Now, if there is a time to ask if God exists, that would be it. So I did. When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
Tough words to hear. That whole testimony he gives about his part in it and realizing what he had done. And then he started using every contact he ever gained in the criminal world to help fight against it. This is the thing, guys. America, we need to wake up. We need to stop selling our kids to the music and movie industry to try to become rich quick. We need to stop selling our kids to the schools and to all these things. We need to stop trying to sell them and use them in different careers. But we've also have got to start protecting kids that aren't just our own and stop being selfish son of a guns that only give a crap about our four and no more. Especially the church. The fact that any of this ever happens in this country, that there's a church on just about every street corner in this country and like 3 on every back road. I know I passed them. Who would know a church was there? But the fact that there are that many churches in this country and we let this happen, my question is, how many of you are real?
Well, to a point, I can kind of dovetail off of that because remember I was telling you, like you brought up the first thing, and I brought up the one point, the Hollywood effect, but the other effect that I didn't get to mention, and this clip really does lead into that. He's talking about this, prostitution, affair. His
encounter with
and he's under the impression that this girl was of age.
No, he thought she was 25.
22, 23, something around that age or whatever. And he comes to find out she's not even 14 or something.
Yeah.
That's a huge age gap. Okay. And that makes me wonder something. And this is where my other thing now gets kind of reinforced by that clip. And that testimony tells you a little bit about the secret into this problem. The other issue that's not the Hollywood effect is the materialism.
Yep.
Yeah. And I look, I understand it's a reality that we live in this country. It's not very prominent in a lot of other countries, but it is in this country, and that is a sex sells country. Okay.
Yep.
And so the more sex symbol stuff you can put out there, the more attractive you can make yourself, the more eyes you get. And now you have this enhanced over this new generation is screwed. I don't even know what they're going to do because this is, click, 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 click. Instagram likes, follows, yay, everybody look at me, look at my tight butt, look at this. And you're wearing clothes that are sexualizing you at an age that is inappropriate for you to have that kind of attention.
Yep.
But here's the bigger problem. I don't mind. I mean, I mind it. I do. I have a big problem with it. And that's going to get to my church point where I'm tying in with what you just said. The responsibility that the church has.
Oh, yeah.
And though they can buy that stuff and they can wear it, and that might be their personal choice. As a teenager girl, you might be influenced by peer pressure. You might have your mom buys you this stuff and that's ill-advised. Okay. Right. All right.
What's worse is the versions of those clothes they make for 8-year-olds.
But that's you got it. Thank you. I'm more upset at the manufacturers, the companies that are producing this type of clothing for children that they shouldn't have access to this.
Halter tops for 3-year-olds.
A halter top. There's no reason any of these types of clothing should be made Made, not
That's the
sold,
bigger
not
problem.
even sold, made. You shouldn't even be making it. What was the one? Balenciaga, right? What had that whole line of stuff that was like
Oh,
The
yeah.
S&M stuff.
children, and it was S&M stuff. It was disgusting, and they had a big problem with that. Good. I hope nobody buys Balenciaga again. I hope they fall off the face of the planet. I hope everybody loses their job, and they should, because you should never have been making that ever. It shouldn't exist, and that is a problem. But now let's tie that in to, okay, well, that might still be in existence. Why? Well, like you said, the title deed to this planet was sold a long time ago. The ruler of this planet does not have good intentions, does not have godly intentions. The people of this world that are being led by the devil are going to do things that are in line with his plan and his purpose. So they're going to get all this over-sexualization junk, right? Church's involvement. What do? Here's step one. Ready? Stop making modesty a Magoo thing. Oh, it's your church is they're so stoic and they're all locked up in their clothes. You know, you're wearing like 30 trench coats to cover up and da 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 da. You're so over the top modest. No, modesty is not about that. Modesty is about not trying to sell yourself off by what you wear.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, you can dress nice. You can wear attractive clothes. Just stop selling your body through what you're
I
wearing.
met it when I was 18, 19. I was at a Christian program up in New Hampshire. And one of the women that worked there, I just remember seeing her as a very beautiful woman. Why? Did she show off her body in any way? No. She probably wore some of the you look almost Amish, lady. Okay, but it wasn't so much what she was wearing. It was the confidence that this woman had. I am who I am, and I don't need to flaunt it. Made her way more beautiful than probably she
Probably
was.
had really attractive wrists.
No, it
Probably
wasn't that bad.
That wrist
It
was
wasn't-
out of that fluffy cuff.
It wasn't
And then,
that-
like I saw that wrist and I was like, oh my god!
It wasn't.
man.
What a neck on her.
What a
It
neckline.
wasn't. Her dresses weren't that bad. They weren't.
I mean,
Okay.
thank God, if she was Muslim, you wouldn't see anything until you open the package. The only thing you have is a silhouette to go by. You're welcome for that one. Do you like this silhouette or this silhouette or this silhouette? Notice there's none that are this. That silhouette doesn't exist in the Muslim faith.
But no, she just didn't dress in any way that would be provocative. Now, granted, Christian program, not supposed to. But there's a difference for people that do it because they're not supposed to, and there's people that do it because that's who they are. And they're comfortable in their own skin, and they carry confidence. That's the biggest thing. Our churches, first of all, our parents out in this world are not doing enough to instill that confidence.
Well, because
So
they're not having the church influence there.
Yeah, that's the other one. Families themselves are failing at this, and then those families are not in the church,
So
or
how
they're
can
not in the right churches where that can be enforced.
Right.
Because if you're in a family, a group of people, doesn't matter how big your church is, but if there's a solid group of people in there, where there's a solid group of parents that are encouraging all the children, people that work in the youth groups and the kids ministry and everything else, that are helping enforce what the parents should be teaching at home to build up these kids. When they go into that real world, doesn't matter what's on the television. They're going to still be who they are, who God created them, because they have that confidence and they have that strength that comes from having, one, God in their life, and two, people behind them that have helped build the foundation in their lives that makes them that way.
And well, think about it. This is my point, right? If the churches are standing up with modesty as a forefront, and
they want to stand up with the Legibiticlaw organization to bring them into the sanctuary and praise them.
But no, I'm not. There are churches that are doing it wrong. I'm not arguing that. But what I'm saying is that the churches that are standing up and doing it, they may not be thinking that. There might be good churches out there that do believe modesty is a good practice, but they're not really getting up there and making it a point, right? You're not doing anything about it. You just kind of know, like, oh, I have that stance. Well, the pastor and his wife dress modestly, and that one, the teachers in the kids' church dress modestly. But some of the people that come in here, they wear whatever they want, and some people are wearing low cut shirts, and some people are wearing short skirts or whatever.
Shorty
and
shorts.
It's like, well, wait a minute. I would find that as an opportunistic time to really teach about modesty and start going off on it. And yeah, you go, well, you're judging them. No, I'm not. But what I am going to do is protect them.
Yep.
Because here's what you don't know. All three of us here, we're guys.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Guys see an attractive female.
That's what we're paying attention to.
Look. It's not, we may not want to buy. We might not be interested at all. But the physical characteristics of men to be attracted to women is a natural thing.
And before I hear the argument of teach your guys not to be perverts, and they won't. No,
we're not being perverts.
We're not.
I'm not groping somebody.
This is where
I'm not reaching over and going, let me check the goods.
I've heard this argument so many times, because like when they bring this stuff up in school, girls can't wear spaghetti strap this or wear that because of boys. And they're like, well, if you teach your boys right, they won't. Then girls can wear whatever they want. Okay, get off the argument. Because if you trained your daughters right, you train them that just as much as guys are supposed to be the protectors of women and are supposed to guard them, young girls should be raised to be women, and real women support their husbands, and they wouldn't be a stumbling block for their husband.
I agree with what you're saying, but I look at it from another perspective, right? There's this one line perspective, which is like, oh, well, the boys are being pervy because they're attracted to the women. Yeah, that's what you want. I don't know about you, but I don't know one woman who doesn't want their future husband to think they're attractive.
Yeah.
You do want your husbands to be attracted to you. That's a thing. So yes, you should want that.
Pastor's talking about toxic masculinity over here now.
But if you're advertising to a swath of people and you don't want that attention, well, then why are you doing it? See, that's where the problem comes in. And that's when you should say something in your churches. You should speak up about it. You should do teachings on it. And you should reinforce it by supporting them. Look, we do a lot of things in our church to try and protect that. We hug properly. We don't do things to make people feel uncomfortable. And that's the last thing I want to do is make somebody who comes in, maybe they're not dressed appropriately in their first time in the church. I'm not going to shame them. I'm not going to kick them out because they're not dressed properly, but I will take time to invest into that person to eventually teach them where they can be more modest and the reason why they need to be more modest. And it's not about you need to tone down your dress because you're advertising. No, it's because it's actually a better policy. It actually works better.
You are a precious commodity, but you are one of God's precious commodities, and you shouldn't be selling yourself off to swine.
Let's take back what's in the movie, right? God's children are not for sale. But if let's just say this person who's in this church situation is not a young child, right? But they're an adult. Maybe they're in their 30s. Maybe they are looking for a good man, and maybe they're trying to find one in the church. Good for you. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And if that's your method, guess what you're going to start doing to your child? You're going to train them that that's the way to get a good man. Advertise the goods. Go win them over through the attraction bracket, and then that's going to adopt into their mind at a much younger age, and you are a proponent of the problem.
And the truth of the matter is, going off of what you're saying, it doesn't matter what age you are one of God's children.
Yeah,
period.
I mean, that's true.
So just as much as when this movie is talking about little kids, God's children are not for sale, we are also not for sale as individuals. So you shouldn't be trying to sell yourself. And that goes for guys too. Like guys do it too. We just do it.
That's like an old church song, isn't it?
What?
Like we're all God's children. I forget the name. I forget how the song.
Well, I know in His hands, you got the whole world in His hands.
Yeah, I know that one too, but that's not the
precious in His sight. Loves the little children of the world.
That might be it. Yeah. Oh, that one's racist though. You can't sing that one anymore because it denotes the colors of the children.
Yes,
yeah, you can't do that one. That's a racist. That's a racist song.
Look, I'm waiting for the Legibitiqua hymn. Okay,
let's not go there.
No.
Let's not go there. Look, I think overall, right, we have a couple points that we can summarize with, right? First point is this. Go see the movie.
Yep.
If you haven't,
yes, go see the movie.
it's in theaters, and I really don't get out much. I'm sorry, but I will try to see the movie. But I do know I'm going to see the movie. It
Watch, you gonna wait till it's on Angel on their app.
What can I say, man? But anyway,
so you can sit it in his skivvies and watch it at home.
Go watch the movie if you can. Go see it. It's not because this is a popcorn movie and you watch it to, be entertained. You're really watching it to have your culture erased and rewritten with a new purpose and a new goal in mind, which is not of yourself, but for the innocence of children. There is something that you can do, and you can be proactive in a lot of different ways. And I hope that tonight, this episode highlighted some of the ways you can do it. Right.
And if you're a pastor of a church and larger church, whatever, and you have the ability to do so, there are ministries out there to where you can show this movie in your church. You can get the permission to show it in your church. There are a lot of ways you can do it. There, if you go onto Angel Studios, their actual website, and click on this movie, you can get free tickets.
You can,
for your area.
Which is cool.
Because they set it up that they didn't want the dollar to get in the way of people seeing the truth.
It's basically been crowdsourced and crowdfunded. Go see it.
So people bought tickets the day that they saw the movie, because at the end of the movie, Caviezel comes on. They put a QR code at the bottom of the screen at the movie. You can click on it and pay somebody's ticket. You can pay the money for somebody's ticket, which is, I've never seen that happen in any other movie.
It's a really cool thing. It is a great idea, yeah.
And it took off when it first happened. Like, people just gave, like, within an opening weekend, there was millions set aside for people to get free tickets.
That's awesome.
Just so that, because, pastors aren't always the best paid individuals in the world. We love you, but sorry for you, $1. But this is a way that people who just don't have the money, the word still gets out there. The message still gets out there. And there are ways for us to get involved. Not everybody is going to be a door kicker and going out and actually, extracting these kids from these situations, though you would love to think that everybody should be able to do that, but not everybody can. Not everybody has that mentality. But there is other ways. There's organizations out there that you can give money to. You can just start doing things in your local church to educate kids to be watching out for this stuff.
And that's key. And that's, again, there's a big problem, and to sit there and go, well, that's great, but I don't have access, or I can't do that.
Yes, you do.
And you know what? And even though everything you're saying, brother, and I appreciate it, the connections and the ways you can actually fund or support active, pursuits into these things, those are good too. But yet again, not everybody has the money. Not everybody has the capacity. Not everybody has that. But you know what everybody does have?
Time.
Not just time. You have choices.
Yep.
You have decisions that you can make. If you're a parent and you have kids, you can refix these choices. Stop saying to yourself, well, it's too late. I've done this, or I got this. You know what? Go through the house, clean the wardrobe out, go buy new clothes. Yeah, well, it's real expensive. You don't have to do it all in one day. I didn't say to go get a whole new wardrobe in a day. But you can fix things.
Thrift shops have nice clothes in them.
You can do things to make a difference. There are ways around the system. You don't have to just settle in and just accept what's been given to you.
Look,
you don't like the TV shows?
Don't watch them.
Stop watching them. You don't like the way they're advertising children? Tune off.
Yep.
Boycotts don't work. Yes, they do.
Ask Bud Light.
Yes, they do. You stop tuning in.
Ask Target. Ask Burger King now.
I'm just saying.
Burger King is getting punched in the mouth.
You stop tuning in to these things, people will have to respond with something else. They aren't in the business of losing money. So if you tell them by not watching, you don't want to support this anymore, when they lose revenue, they're going to find out what you do want to watch.
And nowadays, especially with online streaming through Amazon and Hulu and Netflix, they can tell if people are watching things now.
Forget that. This right here, this right now. This is the new world. This is the new way. You're going to find more and more things coming through streams of this nature on channels like Rumble. Right? Why? Because you're going to see the whole shift of values going away from what you're being sold from the country, this country,
Yep.
and the garbage filter of things that they throw at you every day. And you going, I don't want this distasteful stuff in my house anymore. What am I going to watch? I don't have a choice. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Angel Studios, they have great shows for kids. You don't have to tune into Disney anymore. You don't
Yep.
have to get your news from CNN or NBC or ABC.
There's us. We would really like the viewers because then we can get bigger.
But listen,
but also there's Blaze.
There's all kinds of other people out there.
There's Mug Club. There's all these other places.
And I'm not saying red or blue or whatever. I'm saying you just realizing this, you can wake up tomorrow and make different choices. And the effect that that'll have on your children is catalytic. And you got to do something or it's going to keep going.
Vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet. Vote with your choices.
Yep.
You can change lives, and you can change the ones that are right in your house right now by just making some different choices.
Yes.
And they're not hard. They're really easy.
You might think they're hard, but they're
But
not.
they're not.
Nope. I'm glad I don't use cable anymore. I can choose exactly
I don't
what's
either.
being watched
That's why.
at any given point.
Yep.
Look, guys, it might not have been as jovial as some of our episodes have been, and this is a very serious topic. So I hope that your eyes are opened up, and I hope that you start to see things a little bit differently. I do want to thank you for joining us this week at the corner of church and state where there is no separation. And again,
And no child sex trafficking.
yeah, no, and
we don't.
we don't sell kids here. We might sell you an old Rolex that it says Lolex on it or something, but
I won't even tell you
that's
that.
that's just on this street corner.
I'm not a shady street corner salesman. What are you selling them here?
I'm joking. Anyway, well, like I said in the beginning of this thing, what I need y'all to do is if you want to support it, continue to support us, help this thing grow even more. We need you to hit the like, the subscribe button, the notification button. We need you to share it to everybody you know. But also, if you would like to help us out, $1 here, $1 there, go into Clapper and join the Church and State Clapper family. I'm primarily on that only. Do a little bit of ranting, things that we don't have the time because we only do this once every other week that I can say in a 3-minute clip there. But help us there. Every little bit helps. And believe me, this stuff is not cheap, but I enjoy paying it to do this. I just would like a little help. That's all. And maybe if it grows big enough, we can start getting some merch going. But I digress. We will see y'all in 2 weeks. Keep in mind, in that time, we've got another debate coming up. We've got, we're getting closer and closer to that evil satanic holiday known as Halloween.
I think that's what we're talking about next week. Right?
Not next week. That'll be the end of it. The one that's closer to the end of October.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We're still in September.
Yeah, we're still in September. We're at the end of September
now.
now.
October.
So that'll be then. Also, we're getting to the end of the season, so that means we got the Thanksgiving episode will be coming up. The
Yeehaw,
last
my favorite.
episode of the year is usually our Christmas episode. Might even try to throw in another one of those Politics for Dummy episodes because those are fun. I like doing those. I really do like doing them actually. But we got some stuff coming up. The season's coming to an end, and then we'll take our 2 to 3 month break and then come back again. So it's only with you guys that we're going to get the word out. And I thank you for everything you guys have done, linking arms with us, and I thank you for what you're going to continue to do. So y'all have a good one. Hug your kiddos. Tell God you love him and follow him. And again, I almost forgot. Jeez Louise. If you know where to catch all my stuff in the link tree. In that link tree is the website for our church. If you want to contact this man, you need some spiritual advice, whatever, you can get it. You can contact him through there. If you happen to be in Southern New Jersey at 10 o'clock-ish on a Sunday morning and you would like to come worship with us, the address is on the website, which is in the link tree that you can click it. That's inside the bio here. So you see how that goes? Just follow the line. All right. And you get there, you'll get the information. You come worship with us and we'd love to have you.
And again, as always, in the comments, you can always ask for prayer.
Yep. The Gmail account to contact us is in there too. If you want to send us prayer requests, we would love to pray with you. Mm-hmm. So now that I've gotten over all the particulars, y'all have a good one. Good night. God bless.
Amen.
Peace.
Night.
Can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America,